Let's imagine that you're an experienced landscape designer. You've always drawn by hand. You've been to a site and just made a little mud map of a new site, and that's what we see here. And you've got hold of gCADPlus and you'd like to create your very first gCADPlus drawing. And we'll take it slow, but we'll try and recreate this design. So it sets out all the measurements for the footprint of a house. We'll start at this point here, and we've got some measurements. We've got windows centrally placed, and we've got the width of the windows. We've made some notes while we're on site that we want some upper canopy planting here. We want some screen planting. We like some sort of lawn through and it's just for a front garden. We think we'll need a new fence, and we want to have a sort of custom gate and make a defined entrance to the property, and we'll bring in a reasonably formal path but widen it as we get near the dwelling. So that's where we are aiming. We will start gCADPlus by selecting the icon on the desktop, and we'll pick Open. And that gives this opening screen, and what we'll do is use one of the templates in gCADPlus. I'll click here and you can see there are a lot of them. That one's for a front garden and so on. But we're going to use the default template. And I'll say OK. And there we are. The black area in the center of the screen is your drawing area, your design space, if you like. And over on the left are some individual tools, but we're in the starting environment. Because we picked a template, if we come here to layers, you can maybe able to see there are not a lot, there are half a dozen layers in the design, but there's nothing on them, they're grayed out. So we want to start our drawing, and we now know that there are a lot of layers there. We could say, because we're going to draw the footprint of the house, we could say, I want to draw on that hardscape layer. So let's select it and tick that box and come in here. And you may be able to see that in the properties box, and I'd encourage you to leave that open. We can still see those very same layers, but we can switch between them. We can put an image in, and we're working on irrigation. So we'd like, where possible, to use not a huge number of layers, but a few so we can separate things out. Well, the very first thing I would encourage you to do is to be organized in saving your work. So this drawing at the moment says no name. I'd be inclined to say, get into this habit of saying File and Save, and then navigate your way to your user area. If I double click here and go to C drive, I'll go to my user area, and to keep this won't be as long a path for you, but just pick it. And because gCADPlus, if you're using Windows, is normally stored in the OneDrive folder and in Documents, and here is gCADPlus. And if I go to Jobs, gCADPlus comes pre-installed with some folders to put your work. So in a long-winded way, I'm trying to encourage you to have an organized set of folders, and that's where you put your drawings. So if I go to 2025, I've created, let's imagine we're doing a job in a street called Church Street, and we'd be able to identify that by just the name of the street. So it's a job called Church Street in the year 2025. And of course, as we work in this way, that will build up a number of folders, and in those folders will be the drawings that we've been working on. So to summarize where we're at this point, We've started gCADPlus. We just checked there are inbuilt layers when we choose a template, and we've set our drawing layer as a layer that's called L-HARDSCAPE. So it's the current, and we're going to save a drawing and put it in. We're going to follow a really closely tight and tidy system for a jobs folder. And so let's go into 2025 and into Church Street, and we'll call this one Church Street. And I'm in the habit of calling it Church Street 01, and it'll be saved as a LightCAD or gCADPlus drawing, which ends with the extension LCD. So we'll save it. Now immediately we've protected ourselves against any computer failure or whatever. At any point in time we can reload the drawing. There's nothing in it at the moment. We just have our drawing editor, the black area here, and but it is important to keep your eye on the properties box, because remember we changed the property away from layer 0 and we wanted to draw on layer hardscape. What that means is that any line that we draw, and if we pick draw line, just as an example, and I go click, and if I have polar on, I come down to the status line here, I can just move in the horizontal direction here, and I can just type the distance. What I'm going to do, and you won't need to do it, but I'm going to open the mud map in one gCADPlus drawing, and then go into window, and our Church Street 01 is here, and I'm going to take advantage of the fact that we can tile these two vertically. So on the right is our Church Street 01, and here's our mud map sitting in the left. I could give myself a little more room on this side, so we'll have a little more room to draw. So we're going to draw over here, recreate that base plan using CAD, using the measurements that we've taken, and it'll just be easy for me to do that to get the correct and measured dimensions into that drawing on the right. You won't need to do that because you'll have this on your desktop and can easily refer to it while you are drawing. You won't have this particular one unless you download a copy of it from our website, but you'll have your own mud map with the measurements that you've taken on site. So I hope with this little series of movies you'll be able to take it and recreate the drawing here. And remember that it was a drawing saved in the OneDrive folder, and that OneDrive folder will get backed up automatically by OneDrive as we work on it. So to sum up, I have two gCADPlus drawings open and I've tiled them, and the first is the one we created, Church Street 01, and notice that it's tidily put away in Users, OneDrive Documents, gCADPlus Jobs 2025, Church Street, and it's Church Street 01. This one is called Church Street 01 Mud Map. It's in the same location, so everything is tidily organized. Everything to do with this particular job is in our OneDrive folder under Documents, and it's going to be automatically backed up as we work on it. We should be able to recreate in this right-hand panel the design, the base plan for the design. Now that's taken a lot longer to describe than to do. Let me just take this one out of the way because, and we save it, yes, we're not really interested in you seeing that mud map now. So let's maximize this view, and here we are. So that's Church Street 01. Let's now close that And we'll go through it again. We started gCADPlus, we picked new file, we made sure that default drawing was operational. We took a look at the layers that were in the drawing and we made the hardscape layer current. That's the little tick box. And that was it. We were then ready to start drawing. The current drawing doesn't have a name. If I go window, it's simply called no name at this stage. So we encouraged quite early on that you should create a very disciplined way of storing drawings. So we said file and save as, and we said, let's imagine that we have gone into our OneDrive folder where gCADPlus was installed, and it automatically puts a series of job folders there, and we made one in job 25 called a design called Church Street. Let's assume that's the name of this particular drawing, and if I click in here, there's already a drawing called Church Street 01, so let's click in here and I'll backspace over the LCD and call this Church Street 02 and save it. So it's in a very tidily put away in a named folder in the year 2025, which is the year I'm recording this, and it's named, the job's going to be named after the site location. You're working on a job in a street called Church Street. The next time you come and work on this, you might have a job in a street called James Street, or a commercial job in some boulevard or other. So you make a whole series of folders that are easily worked with, and you know where things are going. So everything that we're working on for Church Street, including images of the site and so on, are all going to be in that one folder. We don't want them scattered across your computer, especially if it's networked to other computers. So that concludes this stage, and we'll move on with another little video.